What is going on, Wolfpack Nation? Welcome to the Tuffy Talk live show. We are here and rolling, and Ken's is recording her video today with the camera. I'm sorry, with the potato. I'm sorry. Totally ruined that joke. Good job, Layden. Anyway, so jumping into it here. We got almost the whole crew. Almost the whole crew. Shout out to you, Macon. Still thinking about you, brother. Hoping that all is well. But got myself, Layden Smith, Greg Legg, Carson, Michael, Ken's got almost the whole crew again here with us. But jumping right into it here, first and foremost, y'all. So, Greg, I think this one hits a little bit close to home here, brother.
Hits a lot close to home, like an hour and 10 minutes.
Dang, that's nice. So are you even going to stay the night? Are you just going to do a day trip?
Day trip. Yep.
There you go.
Up and back.
What? Yeah, no, and because to fill everybody in, as again, this one goes a little bit close to home as well, on the other side as well, where you have a little bit of history with this stadium. But yeah, go Navy, beat Army. So for all those that aren't aware, what is your connection with Navy, good sir?
I served 10 years in the world's finest nuclear Navy.
I love it. That's awesome. That's good. Have you been to Navy Stadium before?
I have one time. Yep.
Okay.
Yep.
Was it for NC State?
It was for NC State. Yep.
First Navy back in 2001, 2002.
Man, I'm old. I can't remember that far.
Years, probably.
I think so. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
I feel like it. 2002, 2003. I have to go look it up now.
Yep. We're looking better, Kens. We're looking better.
I'm trying. Like we have no service out here, so I'm trying.
You're good. You're doing good. But first of all, Michelle says, and absolutely, Greg, thank you for your service. Appreciate you, brother, for that. But again, y'all, make sure any comments, questions, concerns, make sure to put them in the chat, and we will get to all of them here today. But Michelle also saying, from a house where my daughter, who's a student at NC State, is dating a guy who's a student at ECU. You know, a little bit of a split there.
I feel that. And, my mom is at ECU.
Oh, she's talking into a potato too, it looks like.
Can you not hear
me? Like every third word.
Third word.
So late. It was 2002. It was a squeaker.
Yep.
65-19, State won.
Wow. That's yeah. Especially with how Navy is now. I mean, you never see 65 points typically between two games that Navy plays in, much less in one game by one team. Yeah. So Michael, I was doing a little bit of thinking here today, and I found that there is a very interesting similarity between 2018 and 2024 with how the season's ending up. That if we revisit 2018, that was the year where we had the hurricane that the West Virginia game got canceled, and so they rescheduled the game versus ECU, and it just happened to be that before we played ECU, that they fired Scotty Montgomery, and so we had to play ECU at State in a makeup game. So not an official game like as a part of the regular season, or I guess the original regular season, but kind of a makeup game. And we also too had to play ECU against their new coach, Mike Houston, in 2019 at NC State in the first game of the season. Now, 2024, you have ECU, you're going against ECU in a scheduled regular season game against a team without a head coach, and once again you have to play ECU at NC State once again to start next season. Like it's kind of creepy, the resemblance, honestly. Now there is a couple small differences where this is a bowl game instead of a game at NC State, and Mike Houston's been fired now for a few games rather than ECU just tucking their tail between the legs and not wanting to face the wrath that would have really come if Scotty Montgomery was the head coach of ECU during that game. So small differences, but I mean, it's very, very similar. It's a little weird. And then I could tell by a chuckle that, yeah, it's really interesting.
I hope it's the same results, right?
Yeah, that's a great thought. I agree too. I would love for Zeke Correll to get a rushing touchdown. I'd be here for that.
Oh yeah, I was trying to remember if that was the game. Yeah, the 2018
That was the
game,
Bradbury game.
58-3 to end that season, and then
Mhm.
the 20 to start the 2019 season, that was 34-6. So, I'll take both those results.
Dropped 90
stay
points
fit.
in 2 games.
Stay fans booed at the end of that game
Mm-hmm.
Yep,
because
didn't get-
we were up 58-0, and ECU made a last-second field goal to make it
Yeah.
58-3.
Yep.
Yep. And I heard
It was a
from
long
so
field
many-
goal too.
Well,
Yeah.
and the funny thing though too is that Dorn actually iced the kicker even
Mhm.
before that kick as well. And I heard from multiple different EC people saying that guy has no class. I'm like, he's a defensive coach. He wanted the shutout. Like if you already had 3 points, then yeah, he wouldn't have cared. But the fact that that the shutout was on the line, like
It's like
as a
bunting.
defensive
It's like
coach, it means
bunting
something.
to break up a no hitter.
Right. That's a good one. Yeah.
Yeah.
That's a fair comparison. That's a good one. So yeah, no. So first of all, let us know in the chat. How excited were you from a scale of 1 to 10 when you saw this matchup pop up on your screen? So Carson, let me know first. What would you say from a scale of 1 to 10? 10 being thrilled, like let's go, like rip the shirt off, and 1 being like, oh my gosh, like where, what, who?
I would say 7. I mean, it's a pretty familiar team, but also if you look at ECU's schedule, they are probably the worst 7-5 team in the FBS, and so it theoretically should be a pretty easy win with regards to the talent that we have.
Yeah, they played
I
no
mean, they
Power
lost
4
to
teams.
They lost to UNC Charlotte this year. Now I'm not.
Well,
Yeah.
I'm not saying like this
Or
is going to
beat.
be a wrap. I'm not saying anything whatsoever. I'm just saying like, yeah. I mean, I think this is a team that has played this season with a lot of, just unholds barred kind of facet. Once Houston got fired, being like, well, watch this, kind of deal. Which but I don't know. Greg,
Actually,
what would you say?
my statement is still correct. They played no Power 4 teams this year.
Yeah, I think they had their
Yeah.
schedule was 6th easiest in the country.
Wow.
Their best wins are against UTSA and North Texas. Both of them are 6-6.
Wow, that's quite the stat there. So Greg, what would you say from a scale of 1 to 10?
All right, so I'll break this down. Bowl game 10. Just because, like I said, it's in Maryland, so that's my backyard. I'll take that. Matchup -10.
That's fair.
I-
Any additional thoughts on that?
Yeah, just it's a no-win-win bowl game for NC State. It's a group of 5 team that you should go beat, and if you beat them, woohoo, you beat a group of 5 team, and if you lose to them, you got to hear their damn mouths for 9 months.
That's a fair point. Kens, where would you rank this? 1 being
Can you hear
disgusting,
me?
10 being let's freaking go. Yes, we hear
Can
you.
you hear
You sound awesome.
Oh,
Yeah, go for it.
okay. Personally, a 10 because I can't wait to rub it in my mom's face when we beat them. But other than that, I don't know. I'm with Greg.
Context, Kens. You got to give context. Why?
Yeah. Oh, I tried to last time, and you told me I was talking into a potato. My
We
mom.
said you're good now.
My mom was an ECU grad, so my aunt was too, so we're battling each other now. But I'm hoping that this will break our bowl game losing streak. So, I mean, if that's going to happen, I'll take it. I don't care who it's against. If it's against ECU, even better, because we can shut them up for even longer until we play them again next year. So I'm excited for it.
It's been 2017 since a bowl game win.
Yeah, it's been a hot minute.
Far too
So
long.
I'm ready for one. So I'm hoping that this is the matchup for that.
Yeah.
Mich-
Amen. Oh, did we lose me or? Oh yeah, we lost Greg. Real quick, Greg, and then I'll provide my score real quick. So, yeah, for me, I would say a 6. I mean, I think it's a great place to play. I think that State's going to have a solid showing there for sure. But it's going to be cold as heck. It's going to be cold as all get out. I haven't looked at the weather, but I don't need to look at the weather. I
did.
It's disgusting, I'm sure. Gotta be
First
20s,
off,
if not 10.
it's a high of 39. All right. But
That's
what
terrible.
but
Wind chill.
what idiot thought it would be a great idea to have a 6:00 kickoff in Maryland? Like that's a noon 1 kickoff. That way you have the nice warmish sun. Like it's gonna be
Right.
brutal. It's gonna be probably in the 20s with the wind chill.
Oh, easily.
That's gonna be colder than
and-
Notre Dame was.
Yeah. Well, first of all, I love Jalen's comment here saying I think we win by 21 at least. State fans are worrying too much. ECU is not good. I mean, goes to Carson's point. Now, I do want to point out that the line, that the betting line right now is at -5.5 for NC State right now. Over under is at 59.5. So they're expecting a lot of points this game.
ECU's already had some big opt-outs too.
Really interesting.
Yeah, their number 2 wide receiver is opting out.
But I'm sure Anthony
Didn't
Smith
one
is
of their-
playing this baby.
Oh yeah, he's playing.
Yeah.
I hope Brandon
Dorn was
Cisse
complimentary of him last night too. I mean,
For sure.
you know, it was just an opportunity. Like he just wasn't going to get an opportunity here, so he went and went somewhere, and it's okay.
He had a great year.
He did have a nice year.
Yeah. So yeah, no, happy for him. What were we gonna say, Kens? Go ahead.
I forgot. Keep going.
In
In one of those days. Happy Monday, guys.
Yeah.
So Preacher Man.
Mike-
Oh, go ahead. I was gonna say answer yes, and yes.
Yeah.
Yes. Yeah. No. Paylor's locked in. Anybody that you've seen that has signed with Savage Wolves, so Brandon Cisse, CJ, Noah, basically to
Hollywood.
they're all playing.
Yep.
Hollywood, they're all playing. So, yeah. Now, so Michael, I think you were the last one. First of all, again, so Michael, what I don't think you gave your score yet for this game, for this bowl game, right? 1 to 10.
No. Are we doing predictions already?
No.
So, what was your reaction to
Your
this
excitement
game?
level?
Yeah, excitement level. 1 being disgusting, 10 being let's freaking go.
No, I like that it's a G5 team. I don't like that it's ECU because that's
Why do you like G5? I'm just curious.
Because I want
you want to win.
Possible.
You want to win.
Yeah.
There you go.
How disappointed it was at the Gasparilla.
Well, Gasparilla, we actually had already booked our travel back for that Friday back to Raleigh. So we may have had to push it a day if we had been in the Gasparilla. But yeah, it all works out.
I love it. That's yes.
But I think if on that Florida was playing in the Gasparilla, like I would not want to play Florida in Tampa with the way they've been playing the end of the season. So
yeah, they were one of the hottest teams.
Yeah,
for sure, absolutely. But yeah, no, definitely excited. I mean, I think for this game, I mean, I truly do think that now the one big question, which I don't think has gotten announced yet, but who's going to be the interim defensive coordinator?
Yeah, they already announced it.
Okay.
Yeah, it's Freddie.
Freddie. Yep. Audrey Lindsay.
Okay. I like it.
It sounds like he might get a look for the permanent position too.
Yeah, Dave made it seem like he was on the driver's seat for that spot, but he said that he's going to take his time because everybody in the locker room deserves it. So we'll see what happens.
Yeah.
That's going to be interesting for sure. Definitely, that'd be quite the gutsy one for sure, in my opinion. Now, not to necessarily I don't believe. I mean, hey, listen, I mean, had concerns about Clayton White, as a safety coach, and now look what he's doing as a defensive coordinator at South Carolina. Worked out quite nicely for them for sure. Yeah. So I mean, hey, if we have a diamond in the rough for sure with Freddie, that that he can be that elite defensive coordinator that we need heading into next season, then awesome. But definitely, it's going to be a gutsy, I think, one just with how much that's going to be invested for next season. Go ahead.
I mean,
Greg,
it's going to be a hard thing to replace anyway. I mean, Tony Gibson, that's not an easy job shoes to fill. Like he's one of a kind.
Sure.
Coach. So I feel like state fans are going to do what state fans do And if our defense plays bad one game, they're going to say fire him or get a new coach. But just give him time, guys. Like Tony Gibson is different, but now we're back to normal.
Yeah, true. Greg, what were your thoughts?
No, I was just going to say it's interesting kind of reading the different names that you're seeing popping up for the potential DC position, that Clayton White's not even a name that's even popping up, which is kind of interesting in and of itself, that they wouldn't even just throw it in there as a kind of a throwaway. He would make about, because I think he's making 1.25 at South Carolina. Gibby was making 1.5. You could easily pay Clayton, a little bit extra for him to maybe come home. But again, he wasn't on Doran's staff. He was on Tom O'Brien's staff. So maybe there's, there's not a relationship per se there. So maybe that's a driving force why you're not seeing his name pop up. And then again, South Carolina SEC, would people consider that a downgrade going from SEC to an ACC school, even if it is your alma mater?
Yeah, that's a good point. Yeah, very good point. So Preacher Man asking though, would he keep the 3-3-5 scheme or change it up? That is a big question.
I don't know.
So that goes to a Doran philosophy, right? Like, what does Doran want to run?
Right. It's that at that point, I don't think he's been a DC before. So if it was, then it would probably be a conversation between him and Doran on what they want to do. But
Doran did say last night in his bowl game press conference that Audrey Lindsay has turned down a couple opportunities to go be a DC at mid-major programs. Yeah. Just because he enjoys it here, being from the area. So it's not like he's not had the opportunity. But again, it's a lot different going from a, group of 5 to a power 4. It's still weird saying power 4, but it'll be interesting. He's definitely on the list. And so, you probably want to maybe look internal, especially if you're happy with the way his trajectory has gone so far. And maybe to Preacher Man's point, maybe, whoever you bring in, I think you end up running a 3-3-5 next year, unless you can just completely overhaul that D line in one portal class. We've already lost, one D line? 2, well, technically 2 with Hibbler leaving earlier. And then you had Jackson announcing today. So you're already probably going after a couple. You're already going after a couple. So you could in theory change on the fly.
Interesting. Yeah. No, I mean, I really do think though, thinking about this game, it is interesting though, the matchup versus ECU, because I don't know how it works out, but typically the bowl matchup in terms of making it even is definitely of consideration for sure. Now, again, I'm just, because just like Carson's saying, man, I know we're 6-6, but man, looking at who ECU's played, I'm like,
it's not
man,
the same.
they have.
If ECU had our schedule, they would be 2-10.
Oh, totally. Oh, easily. That's what I'm just trying to figure out.
One of those losses would have been to Western Carolina.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, totally.
Or Northern Illinois.
Yeah, no, I know.
Probably Northern Illinois, yeah.
And they would have lost 70-0 at Clemson at halftime. So, yeah. But anyway, I don't know. I can't wrap my mind around this game, and because looking at even ECU itself, they've basically had a quarterback switch this season, switching from Jay Garcia to Caden Hauser. Caden Hauser's been solid, but again, he hasn't played against anybody. He's had a 59.6% completion percentage, 18 touchdowns, 9 interceptions, but he's thrown 14 turnover worthy passes during those 8 games. So it could have been a lot more. So I don't know. If I look at the running game here real quick as well, it's been a basically split between a lot of different guys. There's been a lot of guys that have gotten snaps at running back. So, pick your poison. But I don't know. It seems so much like a trap game. Am I crazy for that, Michael? It just seems like this is a game that we should win. and
I mean,
pretty
it's
easily.
just like it was 2 years ago or 3 years ago when we were 10th in the country and went and played them, or 13th in the country and went and played them. Like, we thought we were going in there, whooping their ass, and then coming home, and they had to miss a kick last second in order for us to win. So I mean, I'm hoping. I feel like this team can definitely beat them, but it's just like having to overcome like defense losing Tony. How are they gonna jump back? Like just people. We don't know who's gonna opt out yet. I'm sure. I don't know if Davin Van's gonna play. I don't know if some of our other guys are gonna play. So that would be a big.
Yeah, that's a big.
Yeah.
Does anybody honestly actually think that Davin Van is going to sit out though? I wouldn't.
I don't think he will.
What is he
but
saving?
from like.
I mean, look, I've gotten to the point. I've gotten to the point with these bowl games. I'm not even mad. Like, if Davin Van thinks that he has an NFL career, which I believe he does,
sure.
Why would you even go blow a knee out potentially? Like, I'm not going to wood that he's not going to do that. So, it's a glorified exhibition game. That's all this thing is now. It gets you 15 extra practices. You can go. Actually, it's not even. I wouldn't even say it's a glorified exhibition game. It's a glorified spring game at this point. It's you go and run different guys in there. Do you want to win? Absolutely. You want to go get a trophy. Enjoy your bowl trip. But at the end of the day, what does it even matter for these games at this point with everyone opting out?
I mean, right now, NFL Draft Buzz has him as the 51 ranked defensive lineman heading into this draft. So, I mean, basically, he's almost a guaranteed right now free agent unless he has some ridiculous change either through the combine or through senior game.
I mean, did you see the boy doing backflips?
Yeah.
Carolina. I mean, he's a freak athlete. And again,
he is.
Like he led the country in strip sacks. Yeah. Like with 6. I mean, he's got talent.
Yeah, he broke state single season record too. Like he's
I think
wait, single season what? Oh,
he tied it. Yes.
Okay.
Forced fumbles.
Gotcha.
But
I thought he got it.
No, I think he tied it. Did he get it? Either way, yeah. So I think he's got potential to do that. So back to the original point.
6.
I don't know. I don't know if you play in a meaningless game.
Yeah. I mean, in my opinion, for him, that yes, like, could he be a guy like a James Smith-Williams, in my opinion, kind of deal where, he could be a great role player, and stick around the NFL, jump around teams.
Or our guy that we saw at ECU that one time, and he's playing Laurel Merchant. Like, is that his name?
Laurel Murchison?
Murchison, yeah. He's kind of like one of those guys. Yeah.
Yep. Yeah. Like, so I think there's a possibility, but in my opinion, I think for him, if I do agree with you, Greg. At the end of the day, I there's nothing for sure with these bowl games, but
I think ECU already had. They've had 3 defensive players say they're entering the portal. I guess they could technically play in the bowl game. It depends on what they want to do and what the staff lets them do. But right
that's
now,
a lot to lose though. 3D, that's a lot to lose.
I think it was one at each level: a lineman, a linebacker, and a cornerback. So I mean, they're already starting out behind.
Yeah, but you can already see, like, I could see potentially where Anthony Belton might sit out.
Right. Yeah.
On the offensive side.
Sure.
Could definitely see that. Zeke.
Zeke could be one of those as well.
I mean,
gosh, I hope not, because we.
Not a center. Yeah, definitely need Zeke. Belton, we could get away with, but
we would be all right.
I think you put Jared Mello in there and give him a shot. He's a senior. He's experienced. Give him a shot.
Yeah. And again, you're going against a group of 4 guys. No disrespect to them, but they're a group of 4. So you should be able to handle them with relative ease.
Yeah. Now, Chill's saying that Giglio said today that ECU will be the Kansas City Chiefs in this game.
That's just Giglio stirring the pot.
Yeah.
Oh, totally. Well, he has a son that goes to ECU too. So, So, I don't know. I will see what happens with it. But, first of all, as well, Got Mama Corral coming in saying, I just hope the result is not the Peach Bowl ECU will talk about until 2099.
I'm telling you, my mom literally did that when I told her about the bowl game. She was like, well, y'all didn't beat us in 92. I'm like, Mom.
There he goes.
Now I understand how other fans look at us when we say we won a national championship in 83. I understand it now because I'm like, Mom.
Every fan base has that moment they try to hold on to.
Let it go, Carrie. I hope she's watching right now.
Yep. I love it. Now, all right, so let's jump in some tweets of the week because we got a couple of big things to get to, including our guy that we've already even mentioned with Mike Houston. Or sorry, not with Mike Houston. No, Tony Gibson. Sorry about that. Have all these names going through my head. Anyway, let's jump into it. Tweets of the week, y'all. All righty. So obviously the news came out, and there was rumors even coming out way before it was officially announced. But our head guy of the defense, Tony Gibson, has accepted a job back at his home state at Morsell University. Now, I gotta say, I texted my buddy who's a diehard West Virginia fan. I said, "What's your thoughts on this?" Because I'm like, man, like it's interesting that the West Virginia guy who coached as a defensive coordinator at West Virginia, who was rumored even, when the conversation started around the Neil Brown firing, that Tony Gibson might be a potential fit to take his place. And instead, he takes the head coaching job at the rival, the counter university within West Virginia at Morsell University. So, I mean, I don't know. Like, Carson, I mean, what were your initial reactions when you heard this news?
I mean, all I can say is I'm happy for Tony. He deserves the opportunity. He's done so much for this program, and
totally.
he deserves to be able to take the next step.
Wow,
I mean,
Carson. So political response right there. I love it, man.
I
No.
talked to
Well, again, I'm just interested. Go ahead, Cans, please.
I talked to my neighbor who used to play under Tony Gibson at West Virginia, Jared Barber, and he said that he thought that Tony was fully in on West Virginia. He was up there visiting. He was up there talking about how he was excited to be back. So I asked him about it, and he said that he honestly has no idea what happened. I don't know if it was more money offered, which, I mean, he deserves the most he can get. Like, he's a hell of a coach. So I'm just excited to see what he does. And I guess we're going to have to start cheering for Morsell unless we play them. So. Yeah.
No, I mean, but I don't know. I definitely, excited for him. Not really shocked by it. Just like Carson was saying, though, definitely a great coach that's spent 6 years at NC State.
Yeah,
so,
6.
It's very uncommon for an assistant coach, especially a coordinator, to stay there that long unless he is either ridiculously compensated like Brent Venables, and basically he just gets a home run offer of a lifetime, but Brent Venables getting an Oklahoma head coaching job, or for Tony Gibson, where he got an opportunity to go back to his home state and be a head coach. Definitely a great opportunity that I'm sure he, to take his family even back home as well. It's total win-win. So happy for him for sure. Love it. Gonna miss him. Now, Chilton says, won't Morsell be a pay cut? No.
No, they would match it.
Yeah, they probably at least match it. Not a little more.
Yeah.
I don't know.
No,
I can see him getting
especially with all the momentum Morsell football's been having over the last couple of years as well.
That whole thing was just weird.
Yeah, I was gonna say the whole right. Their coach just won the Sun Belt, and now he's leaving to go to the worst team in the Sun Belt, who was 1-11 this year. It's weird. It's a weird situation.
I'm looking forward to see if the 4 guys that Tony's offered from us that are in the portal are going to go there and follow him or not.
Wow, Ken's just gonna take away my tweets of the week, huh? Okay, all right, that's cool.
Oh my God, I am so sorry.
Just
no worries, no worries.
It was an intro to this, okay? I didn't say who they were. You can say who they were.
No, go ahead, Greg.
No, I was just gonna say the whole just putting a bow on the Morsell coach moving. It was just it was his year, his contract was up this year. They offered him money, but it just felt like there was something going on behind the scenes where he just wasn't happy at being at Morsell for whatever reason. And that's kind of how everything just kind of came. And it was just It was weird because, you know, I mean, I knew like last Sunday or Monday that he was going to most likely take the Marshall job, and there was nothing on like Twitter about it. And then I think Wednesday or Thursday, you started hearing some stuff, and it got really weird with Marshall fans because they're like, "Wait, we have a coach," and like it was like the Marshall fans didn't even realize that he was going to be leaving, and it looked just messy from the outside, which was kind of wild. And then to Michael's point, you just won the league. Now you're going to the worst team in the league.
Yeah.
And I don't know, maybe he's from the South. I don't really know anything about the coach.
May be, yeah.
Yeah. Maybe he's just wanting to go back home. But I will say the one thing, it resets his clock. You know what I mean? So
Yeah.
It's a good point. Yeah. But just like Kins was saying, the 4 players, though, that from NC State that put their names in the transfer portal, tight end Juice Farine, offensive lineman Sean Hill, defensive lineman DJ Jackson, linebacker Jalen Parker, all 4 of them were offered by Tony Gibson and Marshall. And I mean, again, I think it's a great move. I think it's honestly kind of a layup move, in my opinion, because, I mean, they're guys that are already established with Tony Gibson that, you know, are great
Culture.
players. Hey, I mean, listen, I think all of them would be very successful at Marshall for sure.
No, what I'm saying is
guys,
culture. Like they know how Tony Gibson is, and so they can help influence the other players on the team. That's where I was going with that.
Oh, I got you. 100%. No, absolutely. So yeah, love that, and would have no issues with cheering for Marshall, Tony Gibson with all these guys wearing the green and black. So no problems with that here. But yeah, no, again, definitely excited for Tony. Love him for sure, and I even love as well. His daughter tweeted out tweeted the Tony Gibson announcement between said, always will be #GTHC, and I was like, I love it. That's awesome. I love it.
It will be interesting to see if we do schedule Marshall. We have a history, you know, with them.
Yeah,
but now that I'm like, okay, they didn't want us playing App State, so we're gonna kind of not be able to play Marshall because it's, you know, essentially the same league. They're different leagues, but I mean, it's essentially the same.
Right.
I don't know, but it would be fun.
Yeah. No, absolutely. So jumping into it though, in other coaching news as well, we got UNC Chapel Hill. That's all over ESPN these days.
I saw this today and thought it was hilarious.
Yeah. No, I mean, like, I don't know, y'all. Like, so I mean, obviously, for those who have been living under a rock, just a heads up that UNC has interviewed former New England Patriots head coach Bill Belichick to be the replacement head coach for Mac Brown. Now, I don't know about y'all, but when I heard that news, the first thing I said was, sounds good. I love it, because that means even more cameras are gonna be all over UNC. And in my opinion, I don't know. Like, you know, like, yeah, would players want to come play for Bill Belichick? Sure, absolutely. But I don't know. He's just not, in my opinion, he's just not a locker room guy. I mean, in my opinion, Tom Brady really obviously was piggybacking a lot of that success for sure. And you saw after Tom Brady what things look like and his inability and unwillingness to change. And I just don't see him having the patience, you know, and the interest in dealing with, you know, young adults who, you know, want money and want to transfer and all this jazz. Like, I don't know. It's just way too much politics, I feel like, for him to be really successful at. But I don't know. I mean, Carson, like what was your initial reaction when you saw the news?
I thought it was great, at least for state.
Yeah.
You know, Carolina is just going from a grandpa to another grandpa who's not even a year younger than Mac.
Well, I was really looking up. So Mac Brown was 72, right? Is 72?
Yeah.
Mac Brown,
so.
Yeah.
73, and I think Belichick 72.
Yeah, okay. See, yeah. So I don't know. Again, like, yeah, I think, because especially when you think about, again, Mac Brown, really the idea behind Mac Brown, even UNC has said, was really that guy to kind of bridge the gap between Fedora and the next coach, to kind of bring back up the level for UNC back to being competitive, bringing back energy and excitement to the program. And he definitely accomplished that, bringing in some guys like Drake May, Sam Howell for sure. But again, it's like, okay, well, then what's Belichick? Like, what is this really? Like, what are we doing here? Like, I especially a guy that, I mean, it like, to me, it's kind of a little bit like the opposite of Saban, where it's like, the guy took it to, he put his, feet in the NFL pool, was like, nope, not for me, going back to college and going back and become the greatest of all time. And then you got a guy that's, spent pretty much his entire career in NFL, and now you think that he's going to be successful in college. I don't know. Just, I don't get it. So
yeah,
I don't know. I'm like, sounds good to me. Go for it.
Yeah, I feel like Dave is very excited to be able to like beat Bill Belichick that would be awesome to say.
That'd be
You know what
cool.
I'm saying? Like I outcoached Bill Belichick. That's pretty impressive to say. So
Well, I think it's because, I mean, from what I'm seeing and hearing, I think it's because Belichick's girlfriend's transferring to Carolina. I think that's why
Greg.
he's going there.
Greg.
My
That was
family.
not nice.
grad school.
Yeah. No,
No,
I think that's legitimate. Go ahead, Michael.
Wade has nothing to say to that. That was funny.
I don't know. I think this was more of a PR stunt by both camps
100%.
to begin with. I think it has turned into almost a real thing at this point because I think UNC has botched the search so bad. I think obviously there's a lot of infighting between the board of trustees and Bubba Cunningham, the athletic director, on who's really calling the shots. So,
and it was the board of trustees, and those board of trustees that wanted to keep Mac.
Right.
Yeah.
And and the Tulane coach has already turned them down. They gave him an extension. I think Matt Campbell at Iowa State is still out there. His name. I don't think he's officially turned it down.
No, he did.
Didn't? Okay.
Yeah.
I was gonna say they were playing in the Big 12 championship, so I was like, okay, maybe he'd wait until after that, but nothing's happened on that.
I don't see how
one.
people would want to go there after what they did to Mac Brown. Like I wouldn't want being fired like that right before you're about to retire and them telling you that they're going to let you retire gracefully is just like, that's not a good look when you're trying to find a new coach. I love that it's a crap show over there, but for everybody else, kind of sad.
I think people are seeing. I think coaches are seeing the fan support as well, like what the student section was for the state game. People are just like, coaches are just like, man, all these people care about basketball. I don't want to go there.
Yeah.
I'm also curious to see what the demands are because when Coach Prime got hired by Colorado, he had like certain okay, this is what I want for my contract, this is what I want for NIL, and I would be genuinely curious. Mac said in his press conference that they have $12 million in combined revenue between NIL and revenue sharing, allegedly for football.
That's not really that much with the revenue sharing.
Right. When you add the revenue sharing portion on top of it. And so I wonder if that's kind of a sticking point. Plus, I think the other thing too is Bill Belichick's son. If what you're seeing out there is true, Belichick wants his son to be the coach in waiting. And so is that causing,
oh boy,
not another one.
That would be
When I think of UNC
when you're Bill
and
Belichick,
their wine and when I think of UNC and their wine and cheese and the crackers and all that, I think of Bill Belichick's son. That's for sure. I think
with the mullet.
It was
the mullet.
It was funny. I was talking with Wendell Murphy on Saturday, and he just asked, which was kind of surprising, is like, do you think this is real? And I said, if he goes to Carolina, he's going to be like a politician. All he's going to be there is to get money. He's going to be there to drive up NIL value, get donations. He's going to be kissing babies and shaking hands like a politician. I think he can get guys in there. I just don't know if players are going to want to play there once they have to go and listen to a 73-year-old man tell them what to do.
It's like different. He's always been a professional coach, and you can treat those professional players differently than you treat, college kids. Like you have to. So I don't know. I mean, there's no doubt he's obviously a great football mind and specifically a great defensive coach.
Yeah.
But when we're in this era of college football, I mean, that's really
if you think about it,
a small part.
If you think about it, Saban said the hell with it, and he's the goat of
Right.
college football, and he didn't want to deal
Yeah.
with it. So
Yeah.
you think
Right,
a guy
and
that's never been in
very
college?
close. Yeah.
Yeah, I don't think he
Belichick-
understands how different it's going to be than coaching. in
I am
college.
genuinely curious too, because I don't know if you guys ever saw the Belichick Saban show they did on HBO Sports a few years ago.
Mhm.
It was
No,
really
I
well
didn't watch
done.
it.
And so I'm genuinely curious to see how much Saban is talking to Belichick about this.
Oh, I'm sure. Yeah.
It just as a sounding board, because they've been friends for a long time. Man, I just can't. I mean, I know he loves football, and I guess these football minds, they're gonna die doing what they love. And
Mhm.
like, dude, you're dating a 25-year-old. Go enjoy your life. Like, do you really need the headache?
Yeah.
Like it just
And-
makes
But that's the
zero
other
sense.
thing. It just be a play by Belichick to show he's still interested in coaching and to get an NFL job, which may be probably his ultimate goal, because
But I think that ship has sailed.
wins. Well,
I
he's got
think
that
the
win
NFL
record.
I don't know.
Yeah.
All right, this is an NC State podcast. Let's move on.
Well, I mean, again, like it's such a big headline. Like it's so
Yeah.
like fascinating.
We're
that
still going to beat
honestly-
them, whoever their coach is.
I love
That's-
Coach Roper. I think he's a great quarterbacks coach, but I would love just to bring Tom Brady in to be our quarterbacks coach, just so they could go head to head. Just settle it on the field already.
That would be
Right.
funny.
Love it. Hey, a guy that not only can tell you how to do it, but literally show you how to do it like the best that's ever been done. Like that's what you want in a quarterbacks coach right there for sure.
Who was I just saw? I read somewhere where the former Steve Wilkes, I guess, interviewed for
Yeah.
it. And
Yep, I saw
you
that
know,
too before getting
yeah.
on.
yeah,
Steve Wilkes. Remind me where I know
was
that name from.
he was like, think the
He was the
interim coach of the Panthers, and then
Ah.
coach of the
And
Cardinals.
then our David Tepper's an idiot and decided to let him go. So yeah, that's who he is.
Headliner, David Tepper's an idiot. Yeah, shocker.
Honestly,
How many times can we put that on there?
I know, right?
right?
A lot.
God, I'm
Yeah.
so tired of that man.
The Carolina
the thing-
Panthers.
Oh,
The
go ahead.
Carolina Panthers. Nobody knows how to waste first round picks more than the Panthers.
Here's the thing.
We have Bama Bryce back, so let's chill out.
Still 0-2.
we, have
Yeah.
Bama Bryce. We just don't have anybody else that can help him.
And-
So
But here's the thing: like the portal opened today. Carolina has no coach.
Yeah.
They like what do you like? You've lost a lot of offensive line. You've lost some defensive guys. Not that they were great anyway, but you lost them. What are you doing?
Yep. Now, the one thing though, which I chuckled and I honestly have a screenshot of it, but I don't know if y'all saw, but Austin Blask, the former NC State offensive line commit who went to Georgia, who
Mhm.
transferred to Carolina, is transferring once again. I'm like, oh my
Shocker.
gosh, that is comedic justice right there. That's hilarious. I love it. So, yeah, nope, definitely UNC is paddling up.
He was like a 5. Was he like a 5-star guy, 4-star, 5-star guy?
He was a solid 4-star. He was a solid
Yeah.
4-star
He was
offensive
4,
line
yeah.
recruit.
Yeah.
Yep. Yeah, no, 100%. So yeah, no, definitely UNC is paddling up shit creek right now, and I'm here for it. So, and no, I'm telling you, a lot less UNC fans are actually excited about this idea than some people may think. So, but yeah.
It's
Anyway,
yeah.
though,
It's going to be either a huge success or a huge failure
I don't. See
I
how
mean,
it's gonna be
UNC
if it
huge
even
success.
happens, right? I mean, I don't like they could. It may not even happen.
It would be such a UNC move, right? Where they do so much, they do so less with so much more. It would just it would. But here's the thing: it keeps their name in the media. It keeps them relevant. It deflects from them not being currently ranked in basketball. It's
UNC would much rather look. They want to look
Yep.
like a real football program than actually try and be one.
yeah, they do
Now-
more for publicity.
all
hype
bark,
than
no
they
bite.
do-
All bark, no bite.
Exactly.
So jumping on over to another tweet of the week here, got to give a huge shout out to in-state volleyball, who unfortunately saw their season come to an end a couple days ago, losing 3-0 against number 22 Florida in the first round of the NCAA tournament. Once again, I mean, we've talked about volleyball, I think, probably one time at least per live stream, which is completely justified. As again, I mean, this team has really taken a huge step forward this season and arguably having the greatest season in NC State volleyball program history. So again, super excited about Lucas Labe. I think that he'll continue to use this momentum to improve even more recruiting and transfers as well. And I think, even as well, attendance wise too, I haven't seen necessarily numbers in terms of how attendance has looked this season compared to previous seasons. But I mean, it's definitely been a strong season for attendance for sure for NC State volleyball. And I know Carson covers a good bit with the technicians. So, I mean, Carson, would you agree with that statement?
Yeah.
That it seems like attendance is definitely higher this year?
Yeah. I mean, the Carolina game was awesome. And
Yeah,
the SMU game was big. The Pitt game, I don't know. We played Pitt when they were number one, and the atmosphere for the Carolina SMU games were better. But Pitt was a Sunday, and not a Friday, so that may have something to do with it.
Yeah, good point. Yeah. So, and hey, I love it. Michelle's saying buying season tickets for next year. I love that. That's awesome. So yeah, again, just super excited about Lucas Labe and this team. Any other final thoughts, y'all, about volleyball before we move on?
No, I think it's, it's exciting to see it grow, and we've been waiting for a few years. I'm excited to see what happens. I need to get to one next year. I keep saying that. It's so hard on Fridays with tailgating, get ready that, and then Sunday just trying to get out of town. But I need to figure that out for next year.
We'll get it done. We'll get you in.
The team this year had 6 seniors, so it'll be interesting to see next year. We'll get to get the players a little more.
Yeah.
Yep. A little bit more action. Yeah.
Good point.
So let's jump on over to talk some basketball here, y'all. Is finally for men's and women's basketball, we got some positivity going on here. So starting off here first for men's basketball. I mean, Dontrez Styles and Marcus Hill. I mean, Marcus Hill, he's shown some huge flashes already this season, but I think Dontrez Styles, this is one where I was really excited by how he took over that second half and overtime. Like the second half and overtime was his. He controlled it. So I love what I saw there. I mean, Michael, do you think that this is a little bit of a coming out party here for Dontrez Styles?
I hope so. I mean, he was kind of a big piece. I want to say he was one of the earlier transfer portal guys we got to commit. And yeah, that 4 position in Keats' offense has always been kind of a key person there. It's more of a big guard than like a traditional power forward. So that can really create some mismatches, and Styles kind of fits exactly the type of guy. I think he's not the tallest, but he plays bigger than he is, can shoot from outside. So, if we can consistently get that from Styles, I think that's really a big deal.
Yeah.
I mean, by this time last year, we could say who to get the ball to if we needed it. And that was one of the DJs. Like, that was just an obvious thing. And up until this game, we didn't really know who our go-to guy was. Like, sometimes it was Trey Parker, sometimes it wasn't. So it's like, I feel like if Dontrez can stay on that hot streak, then he's going to be one of our next DJs. And I'm looking forward to it, especially when we get really into ACC play and play Carolina. I'm excited to see how he plays against them.
Yeah,
that's going to be a good game.
Yeah. It's the consistency. You're looking for some consistency with this team. You saw Marcus Hill struggle out in San Diego a couple weeks ago when we went up in competition. So you're like, okay, is this just an outlier, or is this going to be a thing moving forward? So I think he took a big step, kind of shutting some of those naysayers down. Yep. And then the game that we were just looking for, like you said, from Styles, just kind of breaking out a little bit. And the thing is, like, even out in San Diego, we've gotten good looks. We just haven't had shots go down. And I think that was something that you started
free throws. Jesus.
Yeah,
Christ.
they're still that's still an issue. I mean, free throws bit us in the BYU game. And then,
the Texas game.
Texas game. Yeah, that was the one. Thank you. That was the one I was trying to think of. Texas.
No reason we should miss that many free throws when the players are, especially when the players are getting paid to play.
Yeah. No. But definitely.
That's what really grinds my gears, Leighton. Add that on here.
What?
That was my
What,
grinds
free
my
throws?
gears segment. Yeah.
Missing
Okay.
free throws.
Well, the
Well-
funny thing too was,
And
go ahead, Michael.
I may have been saying the same thing in that Florida State game.
Yeah,
They were the worst free throw shooting team in the ACC, and they shot like 90%
86%.
against us. Or it's just crazy. It's just
yeah.
how
One dude had like one dude had like 17 free throws on his own.
yeah.
Yeah, the big moment of that game was just Middlebrooks playing solid with 4 fouls. He hung around, didn't give you a lot of offensive output, but he was really good on the boards and defensively. And then just getting Edwin out of the game, he was killing us. And when he fouled out, that game changed big time. We were able to take advantage. A game that we had control of it for the most part, and then they went on a run in the second half, and then we just kind of clawed back. We didn't. It started to look much like the Texas game, but it didn't end up like the Texas game. So
we were able to get their big guy to foul out.
Yep.
And that really they had.
Yep.
Their
that's
offense
because
stalled
too.
out after that.
Yeah.
Because last year, if we would have gotten behind in the second half, we weren't going to come back. I mean, obviously, it was different in the postseason, but regular season, it was we were down in the second half, it was like the team was just like, okay, whatever. Like it got to a point where they just didn't try to call back. I like how this team doesn't give up and they like fight with each other. So hopefully that'll continue, even though we have Kansas.
Well, and that's and just kind of putting a bow on the Florida State. That's a game you have to have. Florida State, you're playing at home. Florida State's a bottom third team in the league.
Yeah.
First game of the ACC schedule. You've lost 3 in a row. That's a game you have to just get, especially to your point, Ken's going on the road this week to Kansas, which I will be there.
Judging by how the ACC is this year, I think if we want an at-large bid, we probably need to win 15 plus games.
Yeah.
In the league, you mean?
Yeah, conference games.
Yeah. For sure.
I think to be like not on the bubble. Like I think you can probably get to 12 or 13 and be on the bubble, but like you'd be like solidly in like a 6 or 7 seed.
Yeah,
you probably looking at 15.
And like Hunter is saying here in the chat, I mean, we jumped up like 25, 30 spots this weekend.
Right.
Which is big. A
lot of change with these early games. So it's like
I can say we're not Virginia Tech being 3-6.
Yeah.
Like there's no other ACC game you're going to jump up 30 spots by just a win. Like you need to win these early ones so you can solidify yourself in those rankings and then go from there.
Yep, totally.
Or UNC men's basketball year. That's looked interesting for sure. Definitely missing Armando Bacot this year a lot for sure.
Yeah, and RJ Davis isn't playing like RJ Davis.
Yeah, I think Casey Morsell broke RJ. I really do. I really do, because he is not playing good at all.
No, he's not. They are is not good right now.
They're 5-4.
Yeah.
They almost lost to Georgia Tech the other day. They should have lost.
They should have lost to Georgia Tech. Georgia Tech gave them that game.
Yep. Benjamin saying, Greg, safe travels to Kansas. To Topeka, man. Enjoy it. But yeah, I mean, it'll be interesting though for sure. As again, you guys still got one more game before Kansas playing Copen State, where you're a 33.5 point favorite. Which that seems like a hill to climb. 33.5 points. Go ahead, Kens.
I mean, and it's the Heritage game. I feel like that's going to give them a lot of, because everybody loves playing in Reynolds. I mean, it's a great atmosphere, especially for men's. So I feel like that's the perfect placement before we go on the road to Kansas to get these guys hyped, especially the guys that haven't experienced the Heritage game before. So hopefully it'll be loud, get them ready, and we can just be another loss for Kansas next week.
Yeah, they've lost 2 in a row. Of course, they got us rolling in on Saturday, so that'll be their get right game. That's just how it works.
Yep. Now, I do want to talk a little bit about women's basketball, y'all. Is finally, and I do mean finally, we are finally starting to see some movement here with women's basketball, where they're actually starting to play like they should play. And obviously for women, getting a top 20 win against Ole Miss at home, in my opinion, I think it was honestly a must win. Just to finally like kind of a get right game, and even talking about more specifically, I think that Greg, have we finally started to see what the future is going to look like at the center position?
Yeah, I think I can never get her name right, but
Lorena Awu.
Awu,
Lorena
yeah.
Awu.
She looked really good yesterday. That was my first time seeing her in person. I think she's got a huge upside just trying to figure things out. And like Michelle's saying, she's been playing
Oh my gosh.
crazy. Like
Yeah, she's awesome.
Zoe has taken another step forward. I think it's starting to come together. That center position is it's definitely a work in progress, but you had some good contributions there yesterday against Old Dominion. The Old Dominion got out to a lead because Isaiah got 2 quick fouls, and she was a non-factor in the first half. And then you just saw everyone just kind of fill her position, and by committee. Quigley had some nice minutes, Steele had some nice minutes, and yeah, it was good. Like it looked like, holy crap, we're gonna lose this game. I mean, let's be real. I didn't feel it, but you're like, okay, like
Not a good start. Yeah.
Not a great start. Yeah.
What are we doing?
Yes.
Yeah.
What are we doing, person?
Well, I mean, and we were in and keep in mind too, we were a 2.5 point favorite too, as well.
Oh, is that what it was?
Yeah, we were a 2.5 point favorite. So
Wow.
once again, it was just like
Wow.
TCU, where it was like, wait, why is TCU favored when we're the ranked team and they're not? And then now you're finding out TCU is actually a really good team.
Yeah,
So,
top 10 team. Yeah.
Yeah. But now here's my question though, is that, I mean, keep in mind that even though we're talking about Wu and how great she looked, she still only played 12 minutes compared to Mallory, who played 28.
Yeah.
So I'm just hoping and praying, please, Wes. Like, yes, and Wes, we trust, we love you. You're going to be here as long as you want to be here. I get it. There's not going to be any hot seat. I get that. Yes, 100%. But please just understand, Awu has the upside. She has the ability to play at the highest level, even this season, in my opinion, even over Mallory Collier. And so just accept it. That as much as Mallory, yes, she's waited her turn for sure. Again, she had 3 points yesterday. She had 3 points in 28 minutes. Like, it just she's not going to give you anything down below. She's not going to give you any respect from the defensive side. It's just going to be 5 out and just keep an eye on the end. But I mean, it's just I don't know. So that's just my one hope and prayer. Please, Wes Moore, just accept it. Lorena Wu, 28, 30 minutes a game at very least. Keep it that way rest of the season until Kaylin Weimer comes back. Simple as that. If she comes back.
Yeah.
No, agreed. I agreed.
So yeah. I think Wes is just very, like, he doesn't look like it sometimes, but he's very patient and lets these ladies figure things out on the fly. And so I think some of it's just okay, like he wants to see them succeed, and he puts them in the very best position to succeed.
Yep.
But to your point, I think he'll start seeing, because here's the thing, these ladies have to earn their time. He doesn't just give time. So there's something that he's seeing, but it is frustrating with both her and Cox. They were freshmen last year. They're sophomores. You're hoping to still see them take that next step. It's been a slow process for them getting to that next step. So we'll see. We'll see.
I think now you're getting to that point though too, Greg, where like we got to start going. Like, we if we want to get to where we should be with this team, like, we got to get rolling. Especially you got Davidson coming to town on Wednesday night, which, I mean, Davidson, they're no slouch of a women's basketball program for sure. Can't sleep on them. And then you have to go and face Louisville, which Louisville's looked pretty solid this year, even though they're 5-4. And I mean, it's Louisville. They're going to be competitive, especially at their house for sure as well. And so, in my opinion, you got to get ready to win that game. And I think you go ahead and put Lorena in the starting position here on Wednesday night. You give her some minutes. And, if crap really hits the fan, then okay, fine. We can talk about Mallory once again, but see if Awu can really spread her wings against Davidson and then give her some momentum heading into Louisville. That's really how I see it. It's really that simple. I mean, like, Michael, would you say that's a fair approach here?
Yeah, no, I agree. I think you go in with you go all in on the player with the most upside, and see where it takes you.
Yeah. Now,
your point real quick though, just because you said, I want to kind of make a point where you're saying like Louisville is only 5-4, but they've played a schedule as tough, if not tougher than ours. I mean, they've had UConn, they've had UCLA, they've had Oklahoma, they've had Kentucky. Like they've played a lot. Like half their schedule has been against highly ranked teams.
Yep.
So yes, to your point, they're only 5-4, but I still think they're a good 5-4.
This
Very
series is tied.
Yeah.
Our series with Louisville in women's basketball is tied 8-8,
Yeah.
and we've won the last 5.
Wow.
Wow.
That's
We
a
won
good
5
stat.
in a row.
Yep.
Wow.
Yeah.
Yeah, they were so dominant early on. I mean, that's when they were going to Final Fours pretty
Yeah.
regularly. I can't
Had-
remember
When they had Haley Van Lith.
Well, that and they had some others. They had some others on their team that were really good. I think when you really started to see it swing was a couple years ago when we had that massive comeback in Reynolds in 21, technically 22, but it was 21-22 season.
Right.
But I know their coach's name is Jeff something, but he's a really good coach.
Yeah.
Walls.
Great.
Jeff Walls. Thanks, Carson. Yeah, they're going to be ready for that game, like to your point in Louisville. So it's going to get real quick for State, because then we'll start getting into the meat of the ACC here in about 3 games.
Mm-hmm. Love it. Yeah. No. So again, just excited to see it now. I mean, has the panic button been hit on Madison Hayes?
No.
No.
So check this out. So
Yeah.
Fontana, who was one of their better players for Old Dominion, she scored 12 points against us last year in the matchup. We held her to 0 yesterday. So you might not be getting the offensive numbers that you're wanting from Maddie, but she's going to lock them down on defense regardless. And
Okay.
so I'm okay. Here's the thing. If you're going to have Isaiah James not play a half, then yes, you're going to need Maddie to give you some points. But if everyone's contributing the way they should be, I'm not worried about the point production with Madison.
That's a good point. I love it. Yeah. Now, but again, though, I mean, like, would y'all say that? And Kenz, I'll ask you. Would you say that's Zamari Jones? Like, would you compare her pretty evenly with a Zoe Brooks, or would you say that? I mean, like, this is a different level.
I mean, that's a hard question because, I mean, Zoe really broke out, especially at the end of the season last year. But, I mean, the fact that she's doing this at the beginning, like, she
Yeah,
just,
I mean, against
like,
South Carolina, too.
yeah,
What,
like,
like,
this,
really good
this
game.
is,
South
yeah,
Carolina.
a big deal. So, like, I feel like I wouldn't say another level. I think that she's got a little bit more confidence going in these games than Zoe did. But,
Sure.
I mean, I love seeing them two on the court together. I feel like Zoe is right where she left off. That's great to see. I don't see any of that confidence decreasing at all. Isaiah is where she left off. So just adding to the talent, I mean, there's nothing wrong with that at all. So, I mean, having another Zoe, but like a little bit higher level, that's perfectly fine.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, Greg, what do you have any comments on that?
No, the one thing I still struggle with this team is consistency from 3-point shooting. I that's
much
still
so.
an issue. You shoot almost 58% from 3 against Ole Miss, and then you barely struggle to hit 30% here. But again, you didn't need it because you're up, 30 points. So it's really hard to like nitpick. And I know we were standing there, and sorry, it just makes me laugh. Wes walks by us standing as he's walking out to his post-game radio interview, and he goes, "Wasn't pretty today." I'm like, "Geez, that's not pretty. You just won by 31." But he's never satisfied. He's just never satisfied.
You have to say it with his accent, though.
Yeah, just wasn't pretty today. I can't do it.
Wasn't pretty today.
Yeah, that's a
There we
good one,
go.
Carson. That's a good
Oh,
one.
there we go.
And so I just kind of like he fist bumped me, and I'm like, I just laughed. I was like, "Nice game, coach." Like, I don't even know what to say.
Nice name, coach. Yeah, good job. Yeah, no. So again, hopefully this is a get right game. That we're figuring things out, and I think that Louisville, in my opinion, is going to be kind of a litmus of like, are we truly getting to where we need to be, or was it just a one shot kind of deal? So that's where I'm kind of really at with it. But
Yeah, I mean,
Sure.
real quick, our first half
Yeah.
of our ACC schedule is very light. It gets real in February when we start playing Notre Dame, Duke, and Carolina. But the first 5, 6, as of today, obviously those things will change. But our
Sure.
first 6, 7 games in the ACC are not against ranked opponents right now. So
Yeah.
this is where I'm going to go real quick. Is these are games you got to go win. Go eat up your light schedule, and then go 500 when you get to the really tough part of the schedule.
Yeah.
Yeah. Now, I mean, I know that Notre Dame is what, like 9th in the country, and Duke is 10th, I believe, something like that.
Duke 9th, Notre Dame is 8, and then
There
you
we
got
go.
Carolina at 14.
But in my opinion, I'm still saying that Notre Dame's a team to beat, though. In my opinion, I think
Yeah.
Notre Dame is unreal right now.
Yeah, I mean,
Notre
there's
Dame is next level.
Yeah. So,
but Jones looks like a Hidalgo Jr. I mean, she's like her game. Like she was wearing the goggles earlier, so I was like, man, that's like almost like a 1-for-1 comparison. But she's wearing contacts now.
Yep.
But she's been killing it. So, and she's a true freshman.
Yeah. No,
That's
absolutely.
what's crazy. Like homegirls like
No,
just
watch
now
out.
18 and playing like that is insane.
Which is big because you're losing Sanaya and Isaiah after this season. So next year you're going to have Zoe and I think
Mario.
look, we're not talking about Quigley. She looked good yesterday. She because she again, like her and Lacey had to play extra minutes because of James's foul trouble. I think you got something in Quigley as well moving forward.
Couldn't agree more. So yeah, no, definitely. But I mean, I think that with Westmore, I mean, you don't ever have to worry about having great perimeter play. It's about, can we get some help down low, to play that 1 in 4 out style that Westmore loves to play. But Greg loves to play.
I would
too,
play
I'm
that
sure.
too. I would play that.
Yeah, no, I get it. That's a good way to go. That's a good way to go. So anyway, though, y'all. So yeah, so I mean that's the only last thing which I got here, which I think is a fun one to end on here for sure, is what ECU
That
thinks
was my
they look
favorite.
like versus how they actually look. And you got Jack Sparrow, which is how ECU thinks they look, and then you got some dude that
Some
looks
rando.
it's basically kind of a pirate, but is not looking too pretty himself on the right side. So again, excited about this game here. It's gonna be a good one. I think again, hopefully we take care of business. Hopefully CJ, balls out.
I don't want to eat these words later.
I really don't want to eat these words later. No, but hey, listen, oh my God, especially because the fact that we haven't won a bowl game since 2017,
it's time. Like, we've got
it's
to.
time, bro.
There's plenty of room in the
boy.
trophy case for another one, and the rest of the trophies are getting lonely.
Plus, I'm just not wanting to ride back with my mom if we lose.
Oh boy.
No, I'm just gonna find another way home. So I really need the guys to pull through.
Hunter saying ECU stud linebacker hit the portal today.
Yeah, that was one of the ones that Michael was referring to earlier.
Mentioned. Yep.
Yep.
So again, we'll see what happens. But has anybody heard any word on who's ECU is considering? Only guy I've heard is Dwayne Ledford. But
as far as what
head coach,
they already gave it a head coach.
They hired the interim guy. Yeah.
Like a week or two ago.
Dang, I'm behind on that. Dang.
Yeah.
Well, okay. A great hire for ECU.
Well, apparently, I mean, everyone was super excited when they announced him. So maybe it works out for him. I don't know.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh. Hey, listen, ECU, you keep doing your thing, my friend. Just keep being good at only baseball, and that's it. Nothing else.
Here's the thing: if they somehow beat State, he's gonna probably get a lifetime contract. That's the way they view it, right?
Yeah, they hate us.
Oh yeah, no, they want to be us. That's what they.
And what the wild thing is they don't even play like Carolina at all. Like they could have given Carolina ECU this game just as easy.
Yeah.
Which I mean, I didn't really want to go to the Fenway Bowl, but
heck no.
But that would have
been.
Just
they wouldn't know what you're here for. Because ECU football fans are Carolina basketball fans.
That's true. They would be lost. They would all show up in their basketball. They'd show up in their ECU.
The same amount of fans.
I just said ECU basketball jersey, but that's not a thing. They'd show up in their UNC basketball jerseys. But they could have made that matchup, and they didn't want it because they knew, right? They know that this is a sexier matchup than putting Carolina against them.
Yeah, I like it's a little later too. It's the 28th.
Yeah,
so that's another extra week of practice.
Yeah,
100%. And but speaking of that, I mean, hey, you got a former guy, Cam Hayes, still at ECU, senior. So he's averaging 9.7 points a game,
He's still in
3.4
college.
assists a game. He's a senior. He's still there.
Dang.
I saw Shaquille Moore is still somewhere too. Like he was at a big
Kansas.
name school. Kansas. Yeah.
So we'll
That's
see.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh, I hope we destroy.
I don't know
No,
if he
they-
plays,
he's
but he's
injured.
on the
Yeah,
team.
he was playing a little bit, but he was injured. That's where I saw. But yeah, he's injured right now. I was like, geez, that guy's like 40 years old.
Mhm.
Dang, that's
Like he was
crazy.
here forever ago.
Yeah.
He was here was he here when Gottfried was here? No.
No.
No. That
He was
would
here during the COVID year.
yeah. It just
Yeah.
feels like
Yeah.
it. It feels like it. Yeah.
Yeah, no, Shaquille Moore's literally played 2
Yeah.
games, and he played 6 minutes versus UNCW and 5 minutes versus Oakland. He's averaging 2 points and one rebound and a half an assist a game. So,
Yeah.
that's a very interesting. Okay, that's just the guy that I guess just as understood. Like, I have no basketball future. I'm just going to go to Kansas and enjoy my last year. That's
Try
pretty
and
much what that
win.
is.
Be on a winning team. Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't know if you're trying to talk, Greg, but can't hear you. Yeah, especially being a senior, like, and he's going to be a bench player. I don't know. It honestly is good for him, I guess. But I mean, I don't know, man. Just again,
I mean, there's no way he expected to go to Kansas and like start.
And
Like,
be a starter.
No.
Yeah.
Heck no. But I don't know.
Can you hear me now?
Unfortunately, yes.
Agreed.
So anyway, though, but Michelle's saying it best. NC State and ECU fans travel better.
Oh,
Yeah.
definitely.
That's pretty
That's
much
all
it.
it comes down to.
Yeah.
So,
The tailgating scene, if it was UNC and ECU, would be absolutely hilarious.
oh, totally. Yeah.
Sure.
Anyway, Carson, any final thoughts, brother?
Not at the moment. Get into some more when we get closer to the bowl game.
Yep. That sounds about right to me.
Okay.
But for us, y'all, again, if you haven't already, make sure again hit that subscribe button, hit that notification bell if you haven't already. And if you enjoyed this conversation, if you're excited for that military bowl game, hit that like button, y'all. And also too, as well, y'all, make sure to give us a follow. Tuffy Talk now on Twitter, Instagram, TikTok, and also to remember, if you're listening to us on Spotify, iHeartRadio, Apple Podcasts, wherever you listen to us, do us a big favor as well and leave that 5-star review. We greatly appreciate that as well. But with that being said, we appreciate y'all. Let's go ahead and get excited. Let's beat Kansas in men's basketball. Let's beat ECU in the military bowl. Let's get crap done. And hooks down. Yeah, hooks down. I love it. Anyway, y'all, as always, go Pack, y'all.